Good morning, everyone. It's a real pleasure to share this important space of discussion and reflection with all of you. I introduce myself. I'm Isotta Fadden, professor of sociology at Pablo de Olavide University, but also co-AP of Inhabit project coordinated by the University of Córdoba. Inhabit stands for Inclusive Health and Well-being in Small and Medium-Sized Cities, and I will present the challenges and opportunities of education and innovation to boost health and well-being in vulnerable contexts through the experience and learning process of the pilot study of Las Palmeras in Córdoba. Before starting, a special thanks to the organizer or of the International Congress on Education, company and emerging technology in new society, offering the opportunity to share our experience in this space of reflection. I will shortly describe the work realized by Córdoba team in the work package 1 in the last 2 years and after, focusing the attention on the value of co-design process, co-creation process to assess the impact on health and well-being involving the community. But before we will explore what is the importance of Inhabit, why Inhabit project, this project tried to find answer to two urgent matters, global matters, that for a side is the increasing of vulnerabilities, and from the other side, the climate change, two urgent matters. And is trying to give a solution to this, an opportunity of reflection, exploring new possible urban models, but also new urban planning, especially from a small, medium-sized perspective for the challenge, but also for the opportunity of this specific context. The whole reflection, the whole presentation, we will focus on three main concepts. For a fresh side, the context as a specific needs and opportunity given by a specific territory, the actors, the importance of their specific knowledge and experience that have been included in research approach, and the cultural adaptation, how this knowledge on context and actors have been applied to choose the best theoretical frameworks and methodological and assessment tools to running a research project. Inhabit is a multidisciplinary Horizon 2020 journey that see the participation of a consortium, multidisciplinary one with 21 partners from 7 European countries. And I has already mentioned, we are at the middle of this path. What are the main objectives of Inhabit? The main objective is to investigate how innovative action and solution can boost inclusive health and well-being in 4 pilot studies, that is Córdoba, Riga, Nitra, and Luca, with a replication in Bogota. Mobilizing local and various resources with public-private people participation approach, and with a gender diversity, equity, and inclusion methodology. The multi-level approach is already present from the first beginning of the project because its pilot city core groups is represented by a research institution, a good ground-based organization, and the city hall. So we have this public-private people approach since the formal official participation of the stakeholders in the project. More specifically, the objective is to engage and create HoneyLab, our lab of social innovation, social action, taking into account this PPP, people, private, public participation approach to develop a new urban planning to generate safer, more accessible urban public spaces, mobilizing undervalued resource, and designing technology, social, cultural, and nature-based solution innovation in order to achieve this goal. To achieve all the expected outcome, you can see in the PowerPoint the main engagement process, behavioral change with GDII perspective, and generating new assessment tools for inclusive health and well-being. All these goals are achieved through structuring 9 work packages, 4 pilot studies and 5 transversal one. The pilot study in the 4 pilot studies are focused on 4 main values. In the case of Riga, we are focusing on food and health habits. In the case of Lucca, human-animal bond solution. Córdoba, art and cultural heritage. And Nitra, art, natural-based solution and environment approach. In the case of Riga, more specifically, we are working on generating an intercultural and creative food hub working around a food market and a community kitchen. In Lucca, we are working on animal bonds from urban perspective, promoting animal-friendly policies in order to create safer public space and also to improve green space in cities. Nitra is exploring the opportunity of a natural-based solution, working on a reversible, multifunctional open space and a green corridor through art natural-based solution. And finally, Córdoba, we were focusing more in our presentation on sustainable and green spaces, exploring the role of the patios as a sustainable and green social ecological system. You can see in the PowerPoint in the presentation where is located our pilot study. That is, the idea is to create an intangible corridor between the patios of Las Palmeras, a very vulnerable context, and the rest of the city. This whole period of work allowed us to put the roots for establish our inclusive transformation plan, our action plan, defining its theoretical framework and select the main appropriate methodology to apply to our specific context, from the co-deployment, co-design, co-management of the visionary and integrated solution, starting from the establishment of the in-app. During the past path, we have faced different challenges, such as a more generic for all the consortium, for all the projects, the COVID-19, and a more specific way, the high vulnerability of our context. Las Palmeras is characterized by a different kind of vulnerability, education, stigma, equality, and environment. And we can mention some of it, like high rate of school dropout, high level of violence, lack of vocation, and strong stigma, mistrust on administration, and low income. And summarizing using the word of one of the first interview run to a grandparent in the neighborhood, if you don't have what to put on the table for your kid, you don't have the time for education. But beside all this problematic picture, we have used an approach based not on deficit but on talent, with the aim of achieving empowerment in health of the inhabitants, developing capacity and abilities, and for another side, the Inhabit project wants to be like an opportunity to awake all the social and human capital using determinant of health, activating undervalued resource like culture as a protector factor of health in order to improve mental health, social well-being, and healthy habit. To co-design our action plan, our inclusive transformation plan, we have followed a specific model, a person-centered model of intervention in which the participation of the protagonism of all actors is considered essential in order to boost inclusive health and well-being. And in our co-design process, we have established working in 5 specific areas for Córdoba pilot, as you can see in our presentation. For sure, the first step of engagement process of an action plan is the engagement process, and due to our specific need has been held a different 3 our engagement approach level. One level has been the inhabitants with the neighbors engagement, the entity from the neighbors, reinforcing networking strategies and competence, and connecting also synergy with the rest of the city. Also, we have design a specific model for co-design our solution that go like analysis or like a gap analysis adapted tool that go analyzing available resource in order to move from current state to desired state, checking the viability and the feasibility of the proposal design from the with a feedback from the inhabit members. All the engagement process have ended in a very successful event that has been an official launch of our INAB, our lab of social innovation. As you can see from the slide, there is being a very high participation from a neighborhood level, but also from the city level, and we are being able to determine a specific model of engagement engagement process for our working on our action plan that go from engagement process to transformation of tangible improving of the context. So participation through the empowerment of neighbors and networking strategy and competence of association made possible the co-design and the deployment and co-management of our action, generating transformation, and this real transformation boost the participation of the inhabitants and also of the different inhabitants. We also been able to establish a co-management specific process that is an horizontal process with a final check from the with the NAB, with our user advisory board of and Las Palmeras committee. In this period, we have achieved to create a committee of the neighborhood with all the entities participate to generate common goal, common action lines, and objective to achieve with a common action plan. And in this case, the Inhabit Córdoba team wants to be a bridge connecting these different levels. With all this process of co-design and engagement process and knowledge of the context and the actors, we have been able to generate a first draft of our action plan, designing 44 soft and hard solutions. In the project, we divided from soft that are more social solution to hard that are more infrastructure solution. So we want to show a short video.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic, believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. So tell me, oh, will you believe
So you can see in this short video was just summarizing the activity that we are running these 2 years, considering also the first period of pandemic. And as you can probably see from these images, that we have focused our first part to work on social innovation, building trust among participants and entities, creating capacity, developing safe space for interaction, because we consider it fundamental, essential, due to the vulnerability of our context, to focus on social innovation, to being able to create the roots and the opportunity to also generate hard solution. So we work very hard on engagement and dissemination of the project in order to create tangible and real change and have a positive impact on the life of the inhabitants, to encourage in neighbors collaboration and coexistence, to reinforce sense of security and belonging, and especially reinforcing the participation skills, not just of inhabitants with empowerment in health, but also strengthening networking and organizational skills on the side of the institution that are more active in our neighbor. See in the presentation, we have a lot of deployed action, but also different ongoing deployments, such as the creation of safe space for women, monthly radio community program, talent map, inclusive healthy cultural walks, and so on. We shared just in this timeline some of the action that some example of different ongoing that we have realized during these 2 years, and so far we can say that we have achieved several objectives, that it's consolidate the hub, that is always an open process, establish a specific method to move from co-design to co-deployment and co-management, and summarizing, we can say that we have identified good practice and functional governance model that might be used in other and replicated in other vulnerable contexts, with always an open process of evaluation with a multi-level and multi-dimensional approach. All this work and success have been able to arrive to generate our first co-creation of hard solution, that is the creation of a green corridor, and the first step of this green corridor have been the co-creation of a green safe picnic area to boost the sense of belonging to the rest of the city, and also to generate a green safe, public safe for community cohesion, also for mental health and healthy habits. So thank you very much. It was a short example of the co-deployment and co-management process of the co-design of our picnic area. That is, as you can see, there is a lot of community work that has to be done to achieve transformation and educational and social transformation. And to end with the word of the real protagonists of our inclusive transformation plan, that are the inhabitants. One of the participants said that inhabit is the sign that a change, something new, a real social transformation is coming. So thank for the attention, and you can contact us by email if you want more information about our project. Thank you.